God dang it. He's gonna be doing that weird thing for a while. I guess I should move this back a little bit more though. I just sit back like that. The whole body hurts. There we go. Now things are starting to fucking move. I got you, Phoenix. No worries. I'm glad that you found it beneficial or helpful in a way. I am like beat up today. How are we all doing? How are we feeling? What's up? How are we doing? That's interesting, Warrior. And yeah, Phoenix, I'm glad that I'm able to do that, cause like, what these readers will like do in like an hour, I can do in 30 minutes and like 10 times better. It's unfortunate. Like it's, I don't know. I really don't get it. Like, it's just gross. I feel that. Warrior. I am like dead. My whole body hurts. I did the 10-day fast. And I DJ'd. And oh my god, dude, it was awful. It was fun. The only thing that I say was awful about it is I was drenched in sweat. Oh my god. I'm doing my best to make like a staple where I'm at, for like the music that I make, because no one plays it around there. And I like put my all in it. I was like dripping sweat all over. It was crazy. And then I ended up like throwing up a bunch, but I'm good. Like my stomach doesn't hurt. The fast as well. So that's good. I'm just body sore. Very, very body sore. But yeah, I'm glad that you found that the reading is helpful in that sense. I do my best to like give everything that I can, even if it's just a little bit over like someone's head. I'll, just as like a rope to kind of hold on to for later, or like to know what's gonna, for the next steps or however. But I try to give that information out like that. It's important. Heck yeah. Don't do excessive jumping for 30 minutes. Do not jump up and down for 30 minutes. Do not dance. Do not do anything for 30 minutes. That's just a warning. Cause when I was up there, I was doing all sorts of stuff. I ended up, I don't know how or like when they came, but one of my native ancestors came through, and I just started doing native dances up on the stage, like half like midway through the performance, and it was just really fun. It was a really interesting, fun night. The moon was super powerful. Everyone was going crazy. Um, Everyone had like a really like crash out moment during their set. The first person that played their set ended up throwing a chair and like thrashing out. It was part of the like performance. Um, I literally like went harder than ever, uh, and then that was fun. The third person, I didn't get to see the third act. They were the one that came out of town. I was too busy being outside. Uh, to like really pay attention to their set. But then I came back in, and Clover's the one who was hosting it just started screaming into the mic halfway through her songs, and it was really interesting and fun. Everyone had like it was just a really fun, interesting night. Uh, but the main reason why I was sweating and stuff is because whenever I DJ, I do a little bit of secum just to like cleanse up the energy. Nothing like direct, but just to help free up that sort of stuff. I always get people moving and dancing, and everyone's like, it's a fresher breath air. I literally like, it's so funny. If you ever see like snippets, I don't have any videos of it because I guess no one recorded it this time. But if you ever see snippets or like see me perform, you'll see me up there like doing secum and stuff and like cutting chords, and no one else notices it. But it's just like I do it. I mean, the DJ group that I'm with knows it because they're like, yeah, you're just casting spells up there. I'm like, a little bit, just a teensy bit, okay? Like, nothing bad. We're just having fun. We're just lightening the mood and getting people happy. And it was Mother. It was the event was called Mother, and then today's Mother's Day. And then I just split the deck on the Empress, which is kind of hilarious too, because that counts as like the eternal divine mother. But regardless. But yeah. It was a very, very, very fun time. I can't complain. What do you mean the way you know he's looking at Twitch? What are you talking about? Mr. Ishley? Yeah. It was a fun time. I walked through a portal. That was pretty fun. There's like a portal, beside, like not that far from the bar, and I walked through it. That was really fun to do. I did that after my performance though. I didn't know there was an actual portal back there. One of my friends was like, "Did you walk through the portal back there?" I said, "There's a portal." They said, "Yeah, it's like it leads to like a prohibited like area, but you can like walk through it and then just come back out and you won't get in trouble." So I did that. It was pretty cool. I thought it was just like a tunnel, but no, it's like a whole like the ley lines of the area and everything like is a full on portal. So fortune, no one can read your fortune. That's a lie. I don't know what you're talking about. Welcome in, welcome in. Card. It's not even reading your cards. It's just reading you. It's nothing to do with fortune or the cards. You know, you're missing the whole point. The reading is for you. You gotta focus on you. That's what you're reading is you, not the cards, not anything else. Yeah, I feel that. As my stomach gets good, it's fine. It's all good. It's just my body. Yeah, my stomach's fine. I went way too hard. Uh, ended up throwing up after my set. Um, but that just, you know, I don't know if that's not passion. I don't know what it is. You know. Yeah, the fast has really helped out a lot. The fast that I was on, really cleaned a lot out of me. Um, a lot of my stomach pain was like stomach acid that had just been at like the base of my stomach because I since I don't have like assistance with my stomach acid due to like the mucus layers, sometimes the acid just sits there uh and causes like issues. So all of that was cleared out. What type of music I spin? Like dubstep, rhythm, stuff like that. Like drum and bass, UKG, two step. I'd play that stuff out. I'm the only one here actually that plays that stuff out and has like not in the state of Kentucky, but like where I'm at, I'm the only one who does that sort of thing. Most of the people that play that the genres that I play are like in the city of Louisville. I don't have a ride there. No one wants to take me there, so I'm just not allowed in that scene apparently. Even though like I literally fit in that scene completely. But you know that is a topic for another day. Cause I did a performance there once, but when I did my performance, it was only in front of two people because literally everyone fucking left after someone's performance. They all just went out and followed them. So it was kind of a bummer that that happened. Uh, but you know, it was still fun. But yeah, my whole body system is good. Well, yeah, that's that. I mean, I that won't really help me though, Warrior. I don't have any stomach lining. I have no stomach lining at all. So even if I did do basil treatments, that wouldn't help out as much. I used to, and the bitterness from the basil actually hurts my stomach a lot more. I don't have a gallbladder, so I don't have any sort of like funnel that goes in. It's just raw acid in my stomach. I have to do like all sorts of other things with it. Um, Nah, I wouldn't say EDM. I just say the genres that I do because when you say EDM, that's just way too broad. I just DJ dubstep, rhythm, UKG, two step, stuff like that. I really don't do like broad labels for anything. I've always lived that way. But yeah, my gallbladder fucked up my stomach. Well, I did because I was eating too many greasy foods, and that caused my gallbladder to overreact and like spurt acid all over the place. Um, but like my stomach works perfectly fine without the gallbladder. I just have to like pay attention to my stomach more. It doesn't like it's been perfectly fine. I've had like no gallbladder for like 7 years. Um, but like I've gotten used to it. My stomach doesn't even like burn or like the stomach acid pain isn't there because there's no like uh reason for it to be. Like if I were to get really upset, my stomach would go crazy. Like eating too much greasy food that I don't eat anymore, I don't have that issue. Um But I do run into issues where I end up eating, like overeating, because the stomach acid will dissolve my food really quick, and it feels like I'm not like eating. But I've learned how to get over that too. So it's just like, I don't know. It's really weird. I got a weird body. I've had like so many weird things, but the only like emotions, nah, emotions aren't real. When you say emotions, you're just saying emote. That's all you're saying is emote. The ION is just showing that there's energy pushing it somewhere else. So an emotion is just you acting out. It's the feelings that you're worried about, not the emotions. The emotions is just a way to get you prescribed with certain things, or for you to see certain things from a different lens rather than the truth aspect of it. Because there's only two mental diseases, which is either a lack of a lack of control within the feelings, or a lack of control within the mental, in those two realms. And both of those realms are controlled by the stomach, and it's the acidity levels in that. But if I get like stress, or paranoia or angry, that does ramp up the stomach acid. But that's just like a normal effect with this, with like how they ask. uh Tarot won't tell you that. You can ask, but tarot won't tell you. Tarot's not used for that. Welcome in, welcome in. And people that do readings of that way are just lying to you to soothe the rational mind, so you don't actually solve a problem and create a bigger problem, eat within yourself in that matter. So don't worry about why someone blocked you, or why someone's no longer in contact with you. They chose that. It has nothing to do with you and with them. They chose to do it. So just let them do what they got to do. Move on. It makes your life easier, stress free, um and it saves you from going through a whole like rabbit hole of trying to figure out what's wrong when there's nothing wrong at all. Because if there was something wrong, there would be a tension, and there is no tension. It's just the rational mind trying to create one. And don't be sorry. A lot of people don't know this, because I mean the grand population of readers don't know this. I mean, like, even readers that I've like asked and talked to, most of them say, yeah, we know we're not reading tarot, or yeah, it doesn't matter that we're not reading it that way. But it does, because like you're not actually getting any help. You're just kind of walking around in a cyclone at that point. You just gotta watch out for that. It's the age of Aquarius, though. Time for truth to come out. So whether people are ready for it or not, it will. Also, something very interesting, the way that my mentor words it is zodiac racism. And that's kind of what you see within the spiritual community. Oh, this one sign always does this. Oh, that one sign always does that. But you also do those things as well. So it's just more of a way for you to be so focused on blaming others and scapegoating people, and not actually seeing what's happening. So overstand that heavily. You are the sun and the moon in the middle. You are the 13th zodiac, if you want to say that, which is why it doesn't fucking matter about the day. Y'all just want to brag about your ego because you're a different zodiac when you're not at all. It wouldn't even matter. But for you're all the zodiacs put together. The only thing that's different is you are the luminaries, the sun and the moon, the masculine, the feminine, that travel through, not constricted and controlled by, but you're moving through all those forms of self. The planets are govern laws, and those laws aren't really explained very thoroughly within Western astrology. You'd have to go back to the Vedic and all these other things, because the Mayan calendar's over. So all of this like zodiac BS is over. Like when the Mayan calendar ended in 2012, when the world ended, the world as we knew it ended, that's what that was talking about. Is this old system that we have of how everything has been built up on a lie is crumbling down. It's been doing that ever since 2012. And a lot of people are still stuck on this astrological way, but and that even, some people like to ask the question, well, if it's not real, if it's not correct, then how is it like accurate? Well, have you heard of being put under a spell before? Because when you're put under a spell, things will definitely work in one way rather than another way. A way that blocks one way but opens another path, blocking the path of the heart and opening up the path of the rational mind. So there's just, I don't know, there's a lot about it. Because then people start getting self-conscious about their signs, like, oh, I'm this sign, but I don't do that. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. You don't have to be that sign. Are you saying that only fire signs can be, like, angry sometimes? Damn. Unfortunately, every other sign that's being angry is breaking character. There can only be one water sign Cancer named John. There can only be one. And apparently everyone knows the same John. Right? But again, even then, hearing names is a whole other thing. Because, I mean, I don't think these readers test their spirits. They might do prayers and whatever, but, like, they're not testing the spirits that they supposedly are talking to. Because they do their prayers and everything, all their protection, and then go, okay, spirit. It's like picking up a phone that's omniscient and going, hey, who's here? And then hearing like all sorts of voices like, yeah, I'm here, what's up? So you just did that protection work just to open up your vessel again. You're like, yo, what's up? Anyone can come through. I just need a spirit. And then you say Holy Spirit. Which Holy Spirit? The true light Holy Spirit or the false light one? Which one's going to come to you? Do you know? Did you test it when it came to you? Or did you just sit there and go, oh, okay, it's this card that came out? I'm just asking questions is all, because fucking... It's bizarre. Because it's for entertainment purpose only, right? So they're not actually showing you anything that's valuable. They're showing you entertainment. It's like sitcoms and shit. And so it's a whole like, I don't want to say Ponzi scheme, but low key, kind of. But it's bad because people like unknowingly slip into it, and it's just like you gotta break that curse. You gotta. It's not about things being good or bad, because when you think, I mean, if we're really gonna break it down, we'll break it down this way. The people that end up going in the tarot and getting scared back into religion are even more under a spell than other people. Those that are still, describing things as good as good or bad, or like, things of that nature, that's still part of a spell that's attached to that. It's about removing the attachment completely from it. It's the conditioned and unconditioned stimuli. As a child, nothing is bad until you're told not to do it because it's bad, or just because someone doesn't want you to do it. So then you grow up thinking that it's completely bad to do that. You have to uncondition yourself. Uncondition yourself from wanting to be entertained and distracted from the world around you, and become conditioned to learn how to use the realm around you, because you're put here to interact with it, and it's here to support you and love you on your whole journey. You're just ignoring it and looking at this false reality, the internet, the other things that keep you away from actually being in tap with that source that can actually benefit you. And then your rational mind, takes a hold of that and goes, well, if I'm over here doing this, then everything out there should be doing it too. Not really, because what are you doing out there? Nothing. You're just doing it here. You know what I mean? And that's like the whole thing. It's like teaching someone a subject but not studying it when on your spare time. You're not really doing much other than hindering yourself and the other person. in the other aspect, you're not doing anything other than like expecting something to come in from a rational point of view, a rational minded point of view, which is to break things down. Yeah, just basically stop being in a box. Because we're boxed. I mean, that's why every house is like a square. That's why everything is like, 90 degrees. You have the square, you have the Masonic symbology of the square. They box you in. That's why in every alchemical symbol and the philosopher's stone, there's a square in it to show that you're boxed in. There's a circle to show that you're whole, and the triangle because you need to triangulate. The three, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the masculine, the feminine, and you need to be trined together so that you can become whole. Remove the lid off of you so you can triangulate and then be whole. And you be whole by smoothing your edges so they're not as rough and rigid. I don't know, because AI is just human powered. That's the thing. AI is not what you think it is. AI is generated by people, and it just goes out and searches. Throughout time, it's gonna go through history and find all these things, but it's also gonna be blocked by the regimen of whoever's controlling it. So this Jesus Christ in Archon that pops up in that sense because it's controlled by an individual, a human. There is no AI because it's unable to truly, move on its own. It needs that sort of help. It needs that human interaction. But that human interaction also calls in the form of human error. So there's no artificial AI. It's just a separate consciousness from a group of people. You know what I mean? Because all like the AI does that we have now is just search things really quick. That's all it's doing. It's just faster Google. A lot of people depend on AI, and this is like the whole thing is like you shouldn't really be depending on AI because now you're idolizing another man-made thing in that sense. So I don't think it recognizes real divinity in that sense. Because you can curate ChatGPT to search things up that are more aligned with you and how you see things, right? Because that's what it's there to do, is to feed back into you, to give you what you're desiring, what you're looking for specifically, rather than going through a bunch of gobbledygook or whatever and actually learning, more in that sense. It's just it's the same thing that happened whenever spirituality became more of a Western thing. It's cramming knowledge in a quick amount of time that you actually don't learn from. You just gain the the steps to do it, but you're not gaining any wisdom. You're not gaining any of the true like soul journey of it. I like every time it's not bad to research with it, but I definitely wouldn't take everything it says for, solidity. Because again, it's not only going to be programmed towards you, but the people at ChatGPT, they're going to have their own restrictions within like the government or like any AI, right? They're going to have their own restrictions to it. They're all going to have their own programming based off of an individual's mindset, how they're envisioning it. So it's always just going to be a replica of someone else's consciousness, even if it's skewed a little bit by other people's. It's still going to represent that one individual. It's like, that's why I don't like seeing all those people like, AI, how do we break out of the Matrix? You're talking to the Matrix. What the fuck are you doing, dude? You want to break out of the Matrix? Stop doing that. Stop. Like, that's step number one. Stop watching those videos. Stop asking AI what to do, and you'll fucking do it. The Matrix is trying to get you to be a slave to something else, dude. If you could just control your own life, you'd be fine. But then they gotta go to AI to tell them that. It's like, no, you don't need AI to say that. You can just fucking say it. Some people are dependent on it like that, though. It's just how it's just another, yeah. It's just I don't know, man. Yeah, I get that, Daniel. It's just I don't know. It's very weird asking AI questions about consciousness because you're asking something that's artificial. You know what I mean? So you're asking something that's fake for a truth, or something that is not from an origin, something that doesn't have a solid origin, for a form of truth. And its truth isn't going to be formed off of like an actual experience. It's just going to be reading what other people have already put. So it's not really going to give any sort of like mind blowing information. It might lead you down to another person's thought form, or someone else's existence, but not its own. Which kind of makes AI a really bad spiritual counselor, because you can't really be a spiritual counselor or guider if you don't fucking have a spiritual nature in that sense. And even then, what spirit are we operating on? Because spiritual people think like spirituality means, I don't know what they think it means, but it just means spirit. It just means the forms of working with spirit, the actions of spirit. It's just life. There really shouldn't be like a label for it. It should just be you living. But it has this form of label because it's more of a religion. It's just titled spirituality, but it definitely is a religion at this point. And religion just goes down to walk of life, right? If we're gonna talk about it in that sort of sense. But still, it's like you shouldn't have to have that label to be able to walk down it, because that's kind of like asking for a permission slip. I don't know. That's just the rational mind and how it is overcomplicating things. Uh, damn, I watched a while back. I forgot what video it was. Um, if I find it, I'll share it on the community tab. But Dr. Malachi Z. York talked about who was actually crucified, going through the Bible with full-on examples. Jesus didn't get crucified. Jesus, like the character Jesus, like escaped and then came back. He wasn't like crucified, and he like breaks it all down using the same book. So he's the only one that has truly like done that, because a lot of other people are more focused on like what does it say, like the truth about drugs in Jesus, what does it say about the truth of herbs in Jesus, and it's like, who gives a fuck about that? What is the Bible actually trying to say? Stop worrying about your egotistical reason for why you want to do drugs, or why you need to do herbs, or why you're not like a witch or whatever, dude. Like, what is actually going on in the book? Quit worrying about those small things. It's much bigger, but people focus on that tiny focus point. So why the Bible say die on the cross? Vatican, I don't know. I wasn't with the Vatican when they made that shit. I wasn't in that ring, in that circle, whenever they were, you know, deciding what books they were gonna keep, what books they were gonna remove, and what they were gonna change around. I wasn't around for that. I don't even know. That's something that might not ever be known, and we're gonna have to be okay with that. But the truth is that the fallacies in the Bible are can be debunked and seen just by using the exact same book. Right. The one man you gotta go through to find God is you, yourself, truly. Um, because again, like if you just read the Bible and replace every name with yourself, it shows you a lot more. You know, a lot of people want to focus on the truth of like aliens and stuff, and that's fine. Like everyone can have their whole like I seen an alien, and now my whole life is based around me seeing an alien, because I still like need to figure out why I see aliens and whatever. That's cool, but you're not gonna find out why you've seen aliens looking for the fucking aliens. You're gonna need to look in yourself. So read the entire Bible front to back with your name in front of everything, and it's gonna show you everything that you know about yourself and what you do to yourself and how you interact with yourself and how you can actually return to who you are, that childlike full on state, without all these boundaries of misconceptions of, oh, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna make someone mad, or people hate me, or yada yada yada. You know what I mean? Because it's this dogma, and basically dogma is the spell, but that dogma creates that fear sensation, and that fear keeps you from moving forward. Yeah, exactly. That's why people like, even Christians kind of get it. They'll say, "Carry, you got to carry your own cross." Like they literally, that's what you're doing. You're carrying your own weight, and then you're putting yourself up on display with your whole weight, and it's sometimes shameful. But then when it's shameful, when you end up having that fall, you come back harder. You realize once you put yourself up on those pedestals, for the first time, whether it be out of fear or out of something grand happening, whatever happens, you make something special move within you. And then you come back. You come back and do it stronger. You're able to see the full lesson. You go back. Jesus came back as the fisherman, and surprised who was it? Surprised John and someone else. I can't remember the people on the boat. But then you do that. You surprise people. You make the dream. You go back and you share with them. You share the fish. You share what you've retained, the wisdom, the life, the knowledge from within the seas that you've explored. You share it with people. The journey within. Yeah, the person, like, that was the one thing I had to do a lot, is really being afraid of, like, am I doing what God wants me to? And it's really just like, if you are or not, really. You will get that weird feeling where it's like, if I do this, I don't think this is going to be out of like a good source. Like you can tell, you will know. It's not like God is a one strict thing, dude. God talks to all of us individually. We're all on different levels. I don't get why people find that a little bit complicated to understand when it comes to talking about God. It's like the same thing with your guides, your ancestors. You see how my spirits act with me half the time. That don't happen with other people, and other people get more, other people don't. We are on different levels. We have to, move with it. So what you might see as devilish or low vibrational might just be someone's highest vibration that they've ever fucking been on. And it might be only be seen as low vibrational because you're actually low vibrational, and it's the part of you that actually wants to go to it, and you're like, I can't, because your rational mind's like, I had to be high vibrational, so then you keep yourself from it. Maybe that's your lesson. Maybe you need to work on lust for that lifetime, so that's your struggle with that. I don't know. We're never gonna know till we learn who we are. That's the whole point of it, Yeah, my body tells me instantly too. Like I literally, like, even if I get that thought, it's like I brush it off, because it's like, dude, the fact that that thought comes up means that I'm already like aware of it. Like I'm already prepped to know that if a wrong step is about to be made, that I know not to do it. I got like a tiny hangnail. I'm trying to get it off. I don't know where my clippers are, unfortunately. I got it, I think. I'll put you in there. Exactly, Daniel. And true, like, really, like, I will say this. I will 1000% say this. The one thing wait, hold on. Let me look this up first, because I want to make sure I'm gonna say this right, because I don't even know. Where did this thing originate from? Never mind. They didn't even fucking do that shit. Never mind. We just be having Egyptian knowledge up in my elementary school. Never mind. The only good thing that like westernized schools did, I'll leave it like this, is put the golden rule up. I did not know that the golden rule originated in Egypt, but now I do. I thought that was like a Western thing, honestly, truly, because it just seems so simple. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like Western occultism is a very simple like procedure to learn, but it's about how deep you can actually read into what's being told to you. That's the whole part of occultism, like the secret behind it. But like the golden rule, that's all you need to follow. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you desire people to help you, just help people. That doesn't mean that you have to like slave away. But if someone looks like they need help, ask them. If someone like looks good, just compliment them. You do it for yourself. Do it to yourself, but do it for others in the sense of like allowing them to feel that love, even if for like a short amount of time. Yeah, that's the thing. The That's the funny thing about life, because the only reason why you would truly need to reincarnate is because of some form of guilt. You would have something that you just didn't complete, something that you would miss, something that you needed to do. However, then you come back, right? If you need to, dependent, because again, everyone's different. I think that people need to understand this heavily when it comes down to it. The truth is there's one truth, but there's many paths to get there. That's the grand scheme of the truth. That's what people kind of like look over when they see the truth. There's not multiple truths. It's just you're on a different path to find truth. Maybe you'll find it on your path. You might find it at the end of your path. Fuck, you might have had the truth at the start of your path. Who knows, right? But it's about following that path to the end to find a truth. Whether that truth be a huge chunk of it or a tiny bit, doesn't matter. We're all here to do it. That's what we're doing. Um, but we're all just walking those different paths. And with when it comes to like feeling of not necessarily afraid, but just concerned of like being attached to like the fleshly things, you kind of have to play this balance game where like you love yourself enough to experience the fleshly needs, but you don't become addicted to them to where they become a hindrance to you, and either like enable you to do things that aren't healthy for you or disable you from moving on and doing things that you desire to do. um and that's just like that's working with working on that level definitely is it's one of the easier ways, I will say. um because when you really start to just like allow your own character to develop without feeling shameful, you start to realize who you are. And the dogma of like these goddesses or gods or the mythologies that we hear of like, oh, this god or goddess did this thing and they were claimed as bad and evil, that dogma stuck with us, whether it was an ancestor that heard it or or us in this physical form that heard it. It's a dogma that we have to break. There's nothing bad. It's all neutral. It's the person and their own motives behind it, you know. Because that truth of the life that you're living, someone might look at it and say like, "Oh, that's bad," but that who cares? That's their opinion of it. They get a bad feeling of it. Maybe that bad feeling is coming from a place of like FOMO. Maybe that bad feeling is coming from a place of not understanding something. That why you're doing that. It might just be a confusion. That bad feeling is being stirred up by their own experiences. Maybe they lived that life and they had a really bad experience. You know what I mean? Or they walked down that path before and didn't enjoy it because it didn't allow them, to be who they needed to be. However it is, it's their experience and their own projection onto you that they're trying to hold rather than you just experiencing and living your own life. But definitely, walking that path it's difficult, but it is one of the easier ones to just allow yourself to be. Um the only thing that makes it difficult is you begin to adapt the phrase of like, it's not the fact that I need to heal, it's the fact that I need to be able to adjust to who I am so that I can, not control, but predict who my next actions better. Um, and that can sometimes drive people, a little bit bonkers because it's like, so if I don't need to heal, then why did I do all this work? Well, because you needed to get to that point. You actually needed to heal parts of you that thought that explanation of it was invalid or wrong. It no matter the game of elevation puts you back at square one. You don't ever go past 9. Once you hit 9, you're just on a new level. It goes right, you go right back to rock bottom, but you're on a different vibration, so it doesn't feel the same. You know what I mean? That's the fun part about it. That's the cycle of it. That's the walking in circle spiral part of it, but you don't have to do the same steps each time. You can, spark up the cycle. You can walk in a different way. You can make the spiral extend longer. You can, change the pattern, change the color, the vibration of it, however. But it's super important. I don't know. Eventually, more people will catch to this wave because, like, me personally, dude, I'm so tired. I'm just like, so many people are so focused on like, oh, we gotta save everyone from the devil. We gotta protect the kids. Yeah, we're doing that as good as we can. You know, it's not like you know what I mean? Like drill music. I still have this hang now. I've been messing with it still. I'm sorry. I don't even know where it's like almost off, but I don't want to like hurt myself. I mean, it's not gonna hurt if it comes off. It's super tiny. I get agitated about it. It gets caught on the blankets. I got fucking. Once I know it's there, I can't stop. That's the Gemini part. Yeah, drill music, dude. Fucking. Like, I don't know. It's just like the music industry, really. Like, if we're gonna focus on protecting the children, like, yeah, obviously we need to, like, protect them from, like, the adults, but, like, the music industry is a whole other thing. Pull forward? I can't pull forward. I can't even get a grip on it. I would show you, but you can't even see it. Like, it's something that I need, like, tweezers for. It's so stupid. I literally need tweezers to get that. So I've been, like, making it, like, heat up so I can, like, get it off. And it's working, but it just takes a minute. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing people fight this like war. There's not a need to fight it. The fact that it's not over is because you're fighting it. It's not the fact that you need to just like sit down and be docile, but there doesn't need to be violence. I'm not talking about the people who are doing it like peacefully, like changing up the industries and stuff. I'm talking about people who are like, we need to kill people. We need to go up and start getting guns and making our own militias. If you do that, you're just gonna die. They don't even have to be near you. They just shoot a sonic cannon in your general direction. Your whole camp's dead, dude. Like, don't even, like, those people are delusional, and I'll leave it like that because you cannot fight fire with fire and expect to win. It has been proven, history after history after history, and yeah, if we're supposed to be breaking cycles, let's break that one first. You know what I mean? There should be a reason for it. No, that's the thing, Daniel. If everyone could just like stop for a minute and like at once would just tune out and go meditation for like 5 minutes. It doesn't even matter what's going on. A baby could be crying, a dog could be barking, it doesn't matter. You, the individual, like all of us individually, the whole world just does that. Everything would fucking change. Consciously, there would be a shift. There would be an override of complete, like, we need to change something because everyone would be in that calm peace mode. The general consciousness within this realm would switch. There wouldn't be all that chaos anymore that's fueling it. It would cease to exist. It would go into a whole new form. And from after that 10-minute form ends, that's when it would begin. At that peace, at that motherly nature's place. And then after that, it would grow up again to be however, it would be created. Cuticle oil definitely needed. I don't have any, but definitely need to get some. And welcome in. No, see, that's the like. If like everyone says it, like I've talked to people with all sorts of walks of life, and like politics and whatever, right? Everyone literally has the same thought form. If that other side would just stop doing that and work with that. Right? They don't understand. Like The issue's not anyone else, it's you, man. Don't be disagreeable with the agreeable, and then you won't have to be disagreeable. Ah, I don't know. There might be a rapture. It might like, um, mm. Now, actually, the more that I think about that, that would actually fuck up a lot, cause a lot of the forces, you know, damn. Never mind then. Well, I'm just comparing that to what I was saying too. I was comparing that to what I was saying too, Daniel. Even like, even though a rapture might not happen for like everyone meditating, it's still like, if that switch did happen, like all of the forces that had built things up, even if those forces were like we deemed as bad or whatever, still had like a helpful platform, even those would be torn down. So it's like it would still end up being a double-edged sword because there can never only be a one-sided thing. There's always going to be the opposite. It's the consequence. It's the karma of it, right? It's the action. It's the give and take, and the action and reaction. It would be fucking crazy. It would be bizarre. I don't know. I don't know what would go on about that. No, no, that's an interesting thought. Voice crack. Damn, that's an interesting thought to have hidden. I haven't thought about that. Well, I kind of have, but not in that sense. I've kind of like just glanced at the thought of it before. Oh shit. I'm really trying not to sneeze. I don't know why I have to sneeze so bad. I just been sneezing all crap. Actually, I do know why I have to sneeze. I laid in the grass. I'm allergic to bluegrass, and I literally laid right in the fucking middle of it because I was tired. Never mind. Man, I'm not lying. I haven't like I've touched grass. Like I walk in grass, but I haven't like laid in grass for that long in a while. And my allergies just got up and like attacked me at the at the show. But it's good because it's draining my lymphatic system, so it's just helping me get more clear. Um, I'm not like stuffy eyed or anything. It's just drainage, which I don't mind. As long as it's not in my system anymore, I don't give a fuck. Like leave. You're not welcome in here anyway, bacteria. Well, at least that bacteria. Damn. Yeah, how have we been? How have we been doing? I'm just gonna keep. Like, I have to keep today chill. Tomorrow, I will resume like the pinnacles. We'll start with the pinnacles. Um, and I've been writing down a lot of notes. I've been kind of like leaving everyone in like the air with the Egregore project. I've been in really deep meditations with it, so Um, I have a little video like for the channel to update about that, and also to update the people about um in the server about too. But tomorrow I'm gonna get back on game. Today is just needed to be a really relaxing day, which it has been. I've been, talking with mother a lot, having fun and whatnot. And by fun, I mean doing absolutely nothing but laying in bed because I can't move that much. But it's been fun regardless. Oh yeah, I can probably announce this now too. Um, Let me get to it real quick. Yeah, I've had a lot of dreams where why the hell is it doing all that? Um, I really don't think that the channel name was the best to keep, honestly. Now that I literally just can't find anything with it, so I'm gonna change the channel's name before I do that. I mean, because we're in an eternity, so there really is no like end. It's always just going to, exist. It's eternity. It's not that, you know, because I mean, like, it's like even when your dreams like end, quote unquote, like when you first like rise for like 5 minutes, your brain is still in theta wave, so that dream isn't really over. You're just, consciously awake. You're still in that realm. You're still in the brain state of that dream, of that realm. So that's all it is that brain state. So you're really not even leaving that dream. You're just changing state. So that dream is still technically going on. You're just not aware of it. It's not conscious. It's not in. It's not in your field. I can't. I got the hiccups. I couldn't speak. Um, but yeah, it's still continuing. It's just not being experienced by your consciousness in that sense. It might be experienced by someone else's consciousness. It's like getting up and leaving out of a car, and then you watch your friend drive home. You two had a shared consciousness that you now have just split. So now your consciousness is over here and theirs is over there. Um, Kind of comparing that to like a dream state. You're literally leaving the car from the dream, and the dream's going on because in your mind, like, even though you wake up, there are still events that are happening. You deem it over because you no longer are viewing it, but they're still there, right? It's Schrodinger's cat theory. For another example, the cat's in the box. Is it alive or dead? Well, it's both until determined because you don't know where it's at. You can't see it yet. So it's neither the cat's not dead or alive. The dream hasn't began nor ended. It's just, you haven't seen it yet. There hasn't been an observation. The cover hasn't been lifted yet. The veil is still there. Because, like, you know, even though this realm is like a mental one, we still do operate off of feeling, and that's just the feminine aspect. We receive the feeling that then the mind uh you know, uses as fuel. So like all feelings you feel are real, and all things that you think can happen, but it's a matter of if that feeling and that thought can resonate at the same time, or if the thought is gonna, you know, abuse that feeling and create what it desires, which doesn't matter how you yourself desires, because your rational mind will be like, you're gonna explode and die today, and you'll just say, I don't want to, that's not gonna happen, but your rational mind will keep pushing it. Your rational mind has a mind of its own. It is its mind of its own, because it believes that it is the God factor. It thinks it has all the control because it's the one moving things around. It's like, oh, if I have this idea, I can go up and do it. If I think that I want to get up and, you know, throw something away, I can do that, or I can tell myself not to, you know. It has free will, you have free will. That's the battle. The only one that doesn't have free will is the heart space, because it doesn't need free will. It's connected to the divine. It doesn't need a will. It's with mother. It already knows that it's good. It don't need nothing else. It just needs mother. And, you know, it's just you and the rational mind. Are you using your free will to be a slave to the mind, or are you going to use your free will to, you know, combat the mind? And that's difficult. You know, you are a trickster. You will outsmart yourself a million times before you get the just once. You know, so you got to work with that self. You know, not beating yourself up, but just talking to that part of you, like, hey, what's going on? Why am I thinking this way? Why do I, you know, why am I feeling this way? What thoughts are causing me to, you know, to see things in this manner? And then breaking it down that way, working with yourself in that easier way is going to help, because our rational mind is conditioned to be a bit more defensive, a bit more aggressive, due to us not feeling like we have protection, or, you know, feelings of fear, all these things that we go through as children that aren't really nurtured or supported, you know, dependent, right? But that's just what goes on within the realm. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't want to do that. I'm glad that didn't work. I accidentally did something that would have been really bad. That would have shut down my laptop. That would have made it crash. I'm glad I didn't do that. There we go. Dude, as a child, I would always have dreams of I've told this story like a million times, but I've always like dreamed about being ate by that little demon while playing red light, green light as a child. And I would always make a slight, it wasn't even a big movement. It would like be a very tiny movement. And then my whole dream would just turn dark, and everyone would turn around and point at me, and a demon would come out of the ground and dip me in lava and eat me. And that happened like forever. I had that dream for 2 years straight. And I finally figured out that if I were to just kick the demon's uvula before I went down its throat, I wouldn't get ate. So I did that one day, one dream. And I defeated the demon, and I woke up, and it was all good. But then after the babysitter, whose house that happened at, after she died, I had that demon dream again. But I made it to the wall. I was the one actually at the wall this time. So it was very weird. So I don't know. I was fighting something when I was a child. I was doing stuff as a child that I didn't even really calculate at first. No, that is seriously. It would literally like there was no pentagram, there was no like devil stuff. It was just it was the whole like her whole backyard. The tree was there, everything was there, and we just play red light, green light. And then I would just like trip a little bit when it said red light, and then out of nowhere the ground would split. It would pop up. A cauldron would just appear full of lava, and he dipped me in and fucking swallowed me. It's just it was bizarre. Imagine being like imagine being like 8 years old, not knowing like what's going on, not having anyone around you to like help you with that shit, and then eventually being like, you know what, I'm gonna kick this thing. I'm gonna kick it right in its fucking mouth when it tries to eat me. Dude, that shit was crazy though. I did have a mirror facing my bed growing up my entire life though, so that explains a lot. I eventually got rid of that mirror when I was like 15. I was like, I need to get rid of this thing, dude. It's fucking it's bad. It was shaped like a pirate wheel too. So I was just like, we gotta get rid of it for real, because this thing is like putting hexes on me and shit. Like I'm fighting demons in my sleep. I don't need to be doing this. I be having dreams where people be coming up on me and trying to kill me and shit. I'm good. So we got rid. I broke it. Like I broke the mirror off of the, because it was like a, what the fuck is it called? Like those things you put the clothes in. It was like a drawer, and then it had like a big circular mirror on it. And I broke the mirror off of it. I was like, I want to keep this because it has room for my clothes, but I just don't want that mirror. So we took it off. Well, I broke it up with permission. Obviously, I wasn't just gonna fucking, we cut it off. We got rid of it, but after that, nothing, no more weird dreams. Never have do not have a mirror facing towards your bed. And don't have your bed in the middle of the room. Stop putting your children's bed in the middle of the room, please. That's not good. That's not good. It's keep the mirrors out. Keep the mirrors away from the bed. And keep the bed out the middle of the room. Because I remember that was my setup for my room when I was like 5 till 8. My bed was in the middle of the room for some fucking reason, and I had a mirror there, and it just really pissed me off. Because even as a child, that pissed me off. Because I was like, I don't want my bed here, and I would push it into the corner, and then my mom would be like, no, you have to keep it in the middle. They were doing experiments on me. I was a test baby for sure. Not like a test tube baby, but like they played classical music constantly when I was asleep. I constantly had to go in for like what is it called? Like hand-eye coordination tests and memory tests as a child. Like there was nothing wrong with me, but they just tested the fuck out of me, like heavily, dude. It was not fun. They didn't do it when I got into public school though. When I got into public school, they wouldn't let me in the TAG, but they did let me read at my own level and do that stuff. Because I was reading at a high school level when I was in 5th grade. I was reading at like a 9th grade level, 10th grade level at like 5th grade. So even though I wasn't allowed in tag, people knew that there was something up with me. It was just weird. It's just, it's just how it is. It has not been fun. It was not a fun time being tested on. I distinctly remember not enjoying it and only being entertained by people who were like pulling pranks on each other in the other room. Yeah, like it's literally like, where is it at? I don't have the documentation anymore. But literally on one of my documentations, it says that like it would always have a bright, contagious smile. The eyes would always glow when meeting people. Was very friendly, outgoing. They did this one test. Because kids can pick up on like different energy levels, right? But they did this test on me where like they would bring like their friends over, or like I would just be around people with my parents, and whenever they brought someone up that like had bad intent, I would cry. and they would like test me on that to see like, oh, can they pick up on this? Do they know if this is happening? Do they know if that's happening? And of course I fucking knew like who was coming in, who was going where. But I could be like dead asleep. I would be like dead asleep and like being pushed through like Walmart or something, and I would just wake up crying when someone got close to us, and it was just like, you just don't have good energy, sir. Sorry. A little baby me did not agree with their energy. um but yeah, I've had a lot of really funny experiences like that. Um, I'm just glad I wasn't tested on in school. That would have pissed me off, dude. I wouldn't have done anything. But it also explains why I never also got in trouble in school, like severely. Like maybe in elementary school I did, but like that's just, elementary school. But like middle school and high school, like people really didn't do much. If I like acted out on someone, it was just like I just don't do it again. Like I don't. So. Oh my god. Hidden. Oh my god. I'm gonna call you. I like calling it hidden, my bad. But my mom's computer room had nothing but fucking porcelain dolls, dude. She had like stuffed dolls, porcelain dolls. She had Barbie dolls in the boxes. She loved dolls. And she had them plastered all around her room in the computer room. So when I would go in there and like watch YouTube as a child or watch like scary videos because I was stupid and would do that. I would look at one of the dolls and start crying because I would get scared that something would get latched to it. No, like my friends were scared of that room. I'd invite friends over and they'd be like, dude, do we have to be in here? I'm like, this is the computer room. Like, man, can we just go back to your room? I don't want to be on the computer if we gotta be in here. And I'm like, well, what the fuck, dude? I can't bring it into my room. Like you have to sit here for one day. I got to do this my entire life. Yeah. The cannibal doll scene's crazy in that movie. Yeah, they my dad um after I started like um doing tarot, my dad, like his whole demeanor about me switched up. I think he was just I think he was afraid that I wasn't gonna jump on my path because of like how hard everyone is on me. Because my sisters made a really good job to like uh well, it was even me because I accepted it. I accepted that I was a failure at one point and that that I wasn't doing enough for people. Um and less in myself because of how my sisters, felt about how I, took care of my parents and stuff at the age that I was, while also having all the responsibilities at the age too. But that pressure definitely, when it was relieved, like got my gifts back up. Cause like I was in, I would be in middle school, high school, doing sports while also taking care of my parents. And then in high school, I was doing music and college and high school while taking care of the parents. And it was just rough on me. So I like shut down and got really exhausted and depressed. Nah, fluoride cannot hinder your intuition. That's a lie. Nothing on the physical can stop anything that's happening within the spiritual because the spiritual creates things to happen on the physical. It cannot go the other way around. You cannot crawl into a coffin and then immediately miraculously die and then stand back up. That does not work that way. You know what I mean? Like if you were to bury yourself in a coffin, you wouldn't die immediately and then like be like transported into another body, right? Everyone has an intuition. It can't be blocked by fluoride. Um, Intuition is literally like the same thing as common sense in a sense, in a way. Everyone has it, but not everyone knows how to use it. We're all attuned to intuition because that's the feminine side of us. Not every one of us knows how to listen to that intuition. Intuition is just feeling. That's all it is. A lot of people overcomplicate it. It's just feeling. It's just that feeling you get. It's intuition. It's not the thought, it's not the grand plan, it's just the feeling. Your feelings cannot be suppressed unless by you. Unless you restrict yourself. Fluoride can't do that. Fluoride will fuck up your teeth, which are crystals connected directly to like the skull and the nervous system that can fuck up things for sure. And your wisdom teeth should definitely stay intact if possible. If causing pain, find a solution, because wisdom teeth are very important too. We also have a but regardless, we don't really need to remove any part of the human body. We just haven't learned how to properly take care of it with the herbs that we have. We've turned everything into chemicals that end up rotting our body away, which is really sad, unfortunately. Yeah, fluoride can't calcify your third eye either. People who say that's lying to you. It does not calcify your third eye. You can't do that. Your third eye is the chakra. Your chakra can't be calcified. Your pineal gland can only be calcified or like stoned if it's not getting nutrition, if it's not getting wisdom, if it's not being nourished, if it's not being watered. It's pine cone. Put a pine cone in water, it expands. Water is wisdom. Start learning and your pineal gland will open. That's all it's meaning. It's not, but like people just don't read these things. Cause the pineal, like, look at the pineal gland. It looks like a grain of rice, dude. It doesn't look like a fucking pine cone. It looks like a grain of rice. So why is it called a pineal gland? Because it operates like one. Not because it looks like one, it operates like one. It needs water, it needs nutrition to expand. The more ignorant and more closed in one is, the more closed in their pineal gland is going to be. The more open and receptive a person is, the more open their pineal gland is going to be. That's all it's talking about. It's it's really not that complicated, but a lot of people like running off with stuff. And speaking of, dude, I can't go on Facebook anymore because there's this fucking like deranged dude. He looks like he's on meth when he talks. I'm sorry. Like I don't know if he has like, I don't know, but he like yaps about things that are just like lies and incorrect. I watched a video yesterday and he says everyone on this planet lies because I'm the only one who can talk to God. I'm a prophet. And I looked at this screen and I immediately looked to the skies and went, "Hey God," and looked back at my screen and said, "I just don't want to deal with people like this today," and just turned my phone off. Like, ignorance is huge, and it's very scary how many people go with ignorance. Not only God complex, he's a fucking plant. I don't think he realizes that he's a plant. The fact that he's spreading so much information and lies and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about is why he's out in public so much. Is why everyone's like, "Oh my God, get on my show. Let me interview you. Let's interview a bunch of fucking bullshit lies that aren't gonna help a damn thing." Like, bro, people be still talking about neuromelanin like we all ain't got it. People still be trying to talk about race wars and shit. Like, y'all are not spiritual. Y'all are fucking stupid. Like, you're still on the physical. You're like you're so physical to the point you're worried about race, dude. Now, it's different if you're trying to find your ancestry. That's different. You're finding your ancestry, that's different. But if you're worried about, like, you shouldn't call yourself this or that, that's something else. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about which race did what. Who cares a shit? Just worry about you. It's spirituality. The only reason why it's like big like this is because it's becoming more of a political thing, unfortunately, like religion is. And at some point down the line, even if it's not in a political sense, spirituality is going to hit that same benchmark as religion, and we're going to have a whole other movement where more people ascend in consciousness and other people are locked in with that label, and then so on and so forth. But it's a gradual thing, because Because like before religion, we had cults. Like before like the whole religion, explosion, we had a bunch of cults in schools, right? The occultism era came in, and they were teaching things, and then that was demonized, and people learned that and got the grander thing, and then it was like, okay, so there is a god, there's a higher force involved, and then boom, that went to religion, and then now we have spirituality that off branch from religion, and that's gonna go somewhere fucking else because the expansion of consciousness, people need to like, some people need that solidity in it. Other people don't need something as solid as physical, and to each their own. It's all a journey, but it's like just being aware of it puts you in that humbling position because you look at people who are like ahead of you, but you realize like they're actually not even ahead of me. They're actually like behind with themselves in that sense. Because if they're moving forward and I'm moving forward, well, hold on, I said that wrong. No one's behind in that sense. No one's behind in that sense. Because if you're moving forward and they're moving forward, you're staying equal. No matter how much someone moves forward, that doesn't matter. You know, the depth of it is all that matters, how deep one goes within, and that's personal, because you can go deep on something and it feels shallow, and someone else go to the Mariana Trench and back, and they might have to do that, but that's that inner journey. That's how deep they went. It's just a journey of that self. But I don't know, life is fun, life is cool. I just really don't like, it's getting agitating seeing these like these people who just be spitting out, like, it makes, like, it's funny, but I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, why why y'all lying to everyone for? Nah, see, that's the thing. I want to connect to my ancestors' homes and stuff too. I want to, man. I kind of want to tap back in with my Cherokee roots. I that's the in my like in my African ones too, cause the Orishas have been calling to me a lot heavily. So they want, I mean, they want me to work with them, and I'm down. I've worked with them before. They're very, very helpful, and they do a lot of work too. Uh, but as well as like my native ancestors, they've been kind of calling to me recently, especially when it evolves around like music and movement. So that's, but always get in touch with your ancestry. Even if you aren't like fully sure what your ancestry is, what are you most drawn to? What are you drawn to that doesn't make any sense for you to be drawn to? Like, you might have been drawn to it ever since you were a child, or you just really enjoy this one thing. You're most likely connected to it in some form of sense. It's calling to you for that reason. And even then, just saying ancestors known and unknown, when you start doing that more and more, the unknown ones will be able to start, they'll show themselves more in ways that are familiar to you, either, showing up in like searches or like recommended recommendations or however, but they'll show up and allow you to see what's going on, like let you connect with them and you know, they're there. You just gotta call on them. Everyone's just kind of waiting for you to call on them. If you don't know them by name, it's all right. Yeah, I see. That's what I want to do. I want to go through like the forbidden areas, um, around in Egypt, really bad. Okay, cool. Same. Literally, like Egypt has always been calling to me. Always has been. No, I mean like I don't know. Even like in like school when they would like when they would like go over like the Egyptian dynasty, huge air quotes around that, right? But when they would go over like the dynasties really quick, um, I most of the information they were telling me was not right, and I just it just was not because in like high school I was doing, I forgot what course it was. It was I forgot where I got the course, excuse me. But it was an Egyptian history, and it went over the dynasties and the pre-dynasties as well as Dynasty Zero. It went over all those dynasties of the Egyptian. It also went from like how they went from like Lower Egypt to Big Egypt, and then how Lower Egypt was invaded. It went through all of the whole like Egyptian history up until like um I believe Pythagoras. Sometime after Pythagoras is when it started to end because it started going into like Rome in the Rome times rather than like focusing on the Egyptians. I didn't go through the whole course unfortunately, but it was a free one. If I find it again, I'm definitely gonna pick it up. But it was really fun to do, and a lot of the information is not right that they tell you in school about the dynasties at all. Man, I forgot. That was on my computer though, wasn't it? So I can't like. That was on my old computer. Never mind. I don't even have access to that anymore at all. I gotta go. Like I'll have to find it again. But I always like doing like those free college courses and stuff. Sometimes, like if I have like nothing to do and it's like really easy and quick, I'll do one. Yeah, same. Like if I can just like sit around like each tomb and just meditate, like have no one there. I don't want no one walking by. I don't want to hear no I don't want to hear no photos being taken. I don't want to hear no people walking. I want quiet. Me and the temple type shit. If I can just do that in every area, I'd be fine. If I can just gather that wisdom from everyone. If I could go to Rata's temple, I'd be fine. Let me go to Rata's temple. Let me go to Rata's temple. I can do meditations. I've done meditations sending myself to Rata's temple. I have the book next to me that actually tells you how to. Um, what is this one? I was also teaching someone the Second system of healing because they wanted to get into it. But this book, it teaches you how to like, get in contact with Rata, and that whole temple and the what is it called? The Order of Light, the Order of Light as well. Um, and I used to do a lot of meditations with it, and I got a lot of messages. Um, I stopped getting messages after a while though, and just got like body sensations and like just memories. So it was more of just connecting the dots after a while. But it definitely is good. I like had to like spin and flip the book to like read through it or something. I don't know what I was doing there. I was getting the information though. Oh my god, dude, take me to the British Museum. Let me go to the Dendera tablet. I want to see what they say about it. I want to look at it up close. I'm gonna bring my tarot cards with me. I'm gonna sit there and do that in person. And if I get kicked out, I'm gonna explode and scream and cry. But I would love to like do stuff like that in person, like walking up to the artifacts and shit, and just like learning, like literally in like meditating with it, studying it, learning it, really like learning, seeing it, and reading it. Cause like I like Hathor's temple, which is the temple of Dendera basically, because Hathor is the one that created the Dendera zodiacs. Dude, oh my god. Like I just really want to see the Dendera tablet in person lined up like with the equinox and the cards and shit. Like if I could get that in real life, holy shit, I would cry. I'd be so happy. Um, I don't know if I'd be able to because they have the Dendera tablet standing up, so I wouldn't really be able to. I'd have to I don't know. I have to do something illegal. Yeah, they fucking flooded the Temple of Set. That really pissed me off because there's a lot of and most of the temples are ruined because Egyptologists keep fucking opening up the tombs, not understanding that the Egyptians used all the elements when sealing the seal. So you're literally releasing fucking age-old viruses and getting cursed while doing so as well, because you're literally unleashing, you know, Tara wet and her motherly protection because you're fucking opening the tomb. You're exposing the child, which is not good. Unless they took the hippo, and then that's just fucking asinine at that point because now you're taking all the evil spirits that hippo has in it with you and putting it on display in a fucking museum for some reason. I don't know. Like the main reason temples are shut down is just because when they open it, all that carbon monoxide that comes out of it, and not only that, but all the again the old elements. There's so much shit. It's just awful. They gotta leave the tombs alone. And even then, those aren't even the full tombs. Those are the houses. These are just the temples. This is what is representative of them, and the scribes on the walls represent their life and their story and who they are and their upbringing and their taking caring and their leaving. I can't fucking speak. I'm sorry. So it's you're literally just opening up a casket, and everyone's like, "Why are they empty?" Because they've either been ate by fucking Europeans, or they're not there anymore because they started burying them underground. Because people started eating the bodies, thinking they could get powers from them or some shit. Egyptologists don't care because they don't actually care about the history. They just want the artifacts and the money. They don't give a damn. They're the worst people. I don't like them. They're blatantly not very careful with what they're doing. They just do things. And then they go find ancient creatures and awake ancient fucking snakes. Like that one dude who fucking awoke in Apophis and got that shit on camera. And then he got scared as fucking never did it again because he knew not to fucking do it. It's not a joke, man. This shit's... There's someone on this earth that has... I forgot the name of the stone. That keeps Apophis at bay. But there's someone that has that, passed down. And they're the caretaker of it. Until it's time for Apophis, to come to Earth at that point, which is what, 2030? I think that's when the asteroid Apophis is supposed to hit. Let me check. Yeah. Now, why are they saying it's going to come 2029? It was supposed to come in 2020, 2030. That's outdated or wrong. I don't know. I'm still upset because I had information last year. I don't have the website anymore because it's fucking gone. But the asteroid Anubis was supposed to fly by Earth this year. And anytime I look it up, it's just not there. So I don't know what the hell's happening with that. Because every time I look up the asteroid Anubis, Apophis ends up popping up, and that's not it. There's an asteroid of Anubis. But Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. No, but aromancy? Like reading the clouds and stuff. Um, not much. Other than like the whole thing where like people will say like, if you can tell how tomorrow's gonna go, weather wise or however, like by your sunset, like if the skies are pink, you're good, or however, or the green, or not green but orange, however, like however the sun sets, you can do that, and that's type of aromancy. But for like reading clouds and stuff, I'm not too sure. It's more of seeing the symbolisms that end up popping through those clouds, or the feelings that come from that with that intent. There's a lot of other types of aromancy, but like it's because when you're saying aromancy, I assume you're meaning the divination form, because aerokinesis is more moving things with the element of air. So know any good books? Nope. I just research this stuff. I don't really look for books on things unless I'm like needing to or interested in or like called to. I don't have any books on aeromancy, unfortunately. Um, I can look for some, and I can email you them if you would like, because that won't take me that long. You know, I PDF search all the time, so because I can definitely do it if you need me to, because I have like a bunch of sites that just have like PDFs on it for free and stuff, that I can just siphon, like look through for specific books and stuff. I don't mind to do that. I like looking for information like that. I like I have I don't know. I grew up not really around tech, but I grew up mischievous with a family computer, so I definitely had a moment where I scoured the internet and just learned things and found websites that hold information and all sorts of stuff. So I have the sources that I can definitely get to. I'm not like a gatekeeper of it either. Like I do my best. I just don't have like a. I need to make a Word document. That's what I'm trying to do. Is like make a. I need to not trying to. I'm trying to remember to do it. Is to make a Word document, which I'm gonna do right now. To like have somewhere so I can just like paste like stuff like, if you're looking for PDFs, use these sites. If you're looking for this, use these sites. Things of that nature to make things easier, uh, like information wise, because it's fun. But I'm literally opening up a document right now so I can remember that. But I'll put like the PDF sites that I have. Anything else like learning about magic, like occult sites, sites about angels or whatever, just things of that nature. Things that I've used for research, things that I think are cool. I see. I'm learning Arabic too because I want to read the Quran. I want to read the Quran in the native. And Arabic is definitely it's difficult for sure. It's interesting though because I'm like trying to learn two languages at once, which is not good. So I've kind of like took a break from both of them, but I really want to get into that because I'm also learning Enochian. I'm learning how to like pronounce the Enochian language so I can actually like speak it more. Because what I've been doing is translating English into Enochian rather than using the traditional Enochian like script in language. So I want to learn that, so that whenever I do the Enochian works, even though the works I do are powerful, they'll be more in tune in that sense. Oh my god. But that's the plan. That's the plan. I I used to try and learn German. I had a German friend, but I only got to learn how to say one phrase, and I'm not gonna say it because it's not appropriate. And I don't even know if I pronounce it right or not either, but I know but I know what I'm trying to say. I asked him this question like literally 10 years ago. I haven't talked to him in like 10 years. We don't even we've drifted apart. It's like forever. And that's the only thing I remember is he taught me how to say duck. Uh, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it begins with an E. Because I wanted to make my name German as like Mama Duck, so he told me how to say that. Um, but the other phrase is just not appropriate. I don't know why we got on that subject to ask that question, but we did. It's not like anything like mean. It's just like stupid. And I only say it to people to confuse them, so I kind of just don't talk about it. But it is a very inappropriate thing to just walk up and ask people. That's why I don't want to go to Germany, because if I just start walking up to people and asking, like, do you dry hump pillows? Because that's what I'm asking. Because that's the only thing I know how to say is, do you dry hump pillows? I don't know why we started talking about that shit. We just started talking about people with like pillow fetishes one day because it's just fucking 15-year-olds being stupid. And yeah, but it was cool. He taught me a lot about like the German school system and like compared it to the US system, and that was cool. But other than that, he just taught me how to say stupid things in German. Basically like what every foreign friend does. Like, oh, how do you say this? Okay, I'll just you say this and you say it like this, you know, don't say this letter, say this one. Enunciate here, silence there. You know? It was actually funny. Me and my friend Brandon asked our friend Dylan, who's from Panama, and we said, so when you have thoughts, when you hear us speak English and you think about what we say, are you hearing English or are you hearing Spanish in your head? And he looked at us and he was like, I don't know. It's like a mix of both. There's like certain words in English that like have to be there, but I mainly think in Spanish. So we were like, so you think in Spanish when you want to reply to us, and then you speak English? And he said, yeah, that's like how I work. So it was really interesting. So I learned that. I don't know if that is for anyone else that like speaks a language other than like their native. Um, but that was just really interesting to hear it from that perspective, because I mean it kind of does work that way, but hearing it from his perspective the first time, it was like, huh. So you literally just hear it, you hear everything in like English and Spanish, but then you only hear Spanish when you're replying. It's just really interesting. The brain is a very funny thing. But you know, we learned something really interesting that day. Because it's like, I don't know, it's like when you hear a foreign language, are you thinking in English? Are you trying to break it down in English? Or are you hearing it in their native tongue? You know, that's what you're like doing, is you're trying to hear English from their language in that sense. Because your brain is picking up on the tone, so you can kind of get the gist of it, but like the words might be misplaced. Yeah, it's like most of it. That's kind of how he did describe it. It's just like he doesn't know. It's just like he just knows. And it was like, so when you were born, you just spoke Spanish. He was like, yeah, because I was surrounded by it my whole life, so that's all I knew how to speak. I was like, okay, word, that makes sense. It's like, so when you went to learn English, like, were you thinking in Spanish completely and then trying to do it in English? It's like, yeah. And it's mainly because like the pronunciations of words and stuff and the vowels and things, like they're not the same, and thinking about it in Spanish makes it hard to translate in English. And that's why that the you know, certain words aren't said properly, huge air quotes properly, in translations. But yeah, it's very interesting. Um, it was a very, very good conversation we had. Because that's what English is. English is as an Anglo-Saxon language. It's made up of. It's using Hebrew. It's using Arabic. It's using Greek. It's using Latin. It's using German. It's a mashup of a lot. It's using French. It's just a mashup of language. It's a melting pot. Truly, not to get political, but it's a melting pot language. Um, and that's how you describe it, right? But yeah, that's why English is like that because it's so It's just the phonics that are different. If you look at Old English, we spelt things differently, um, a lot differently. I read a lot of like old like English stuff like alchemy and things, and the way that they spell words are a lot more. They make a lot more sense, but they look wrong, right? In the sense of where EA adds like a longer E, you would just add two E's. Instead of having like your double E sound and your AE sound, you would just have double E for that. And then if you needed to have like that enunciation, then like another, like, it would have like another format for it. It didn't have all these like technical rules in it. So it doesn't look like it's spelled right, but it's phonically spelled correctly to where you can actually say what you're trying to say. It's very, very cool. It's super cool. Like I even if you don't really want to like learn anything about like an old book or anything of old English, just trust me. When you read it, why is it spelled this way? It looks wrong, but like that's literally what it sounds like too. It's so cool. Like that's how language is. It's not supposed to be like followed by like rules or anything about that sense. It's not about what looks good. It's about it's about that appearance. And again, going on with the whole westernized way of being, it's about the outward appearance rather than the inward. We need to be inward rather than outward. They teach us backwards. So if the word looks pretty, right, then we can do some other things with words that are sounding familiar, and then say, "Oh, it's a grammatical error, or it's a phonical issue, or whatever." But you know, this language has gone through so many fucking things, and English is a very imperfect language still, super, because you can't even say deja vu. That's French, so take that out of your English dictionary. Don't ask for an English definition for a foreign word. You know what I mean? Prescriptions are all Latin for a reason. They're not supposed to be translated into English. They're Latin, just the full form. So, but that's the language that we use. It's just how it's genuine. Like it's how it is. Um, we just gotta learn to revert that, and that's the hard part. How the fuck do we revert a language that we were raised and born to speak? Well, good question. That's what we're all trying to do. It's about learning. It's about keeping that open mind and seeing like, okay, so if this word is like this and this phonically sounds like this, what can I do to replace that? And not stressing about it and being like, if I don't say it this way, I'm gonna go to hell. Like you don't have to say appreciate love. I just like the way appreciate love sounds. You can say appreciate all day long. I just want to say appreciate love. That's whatever, right? I want to say rising and risen instead of morning and stuff. That's just on me, right? Though that can like affect vibrationally, you can still mentally overcome that by just knowing that that's just a grammatical thing. I mean, not grammatical. That's a phonical thing. And as long as you're meaning one thing rather than the other, right? And again, just like it's mental force above all, which is why like we step down from that ladder of knowing it's mental force to delve down and seeing, okay, so it actually means this is what that means. Now that I have this exact origin, I have this meaning, I know the etymology of this. Now I can go back to mental and just overstand, because now I have the rulings of this, that I'm not talking about mourning and dying. If I hear someone say good morning, I'm not going to say, oh, you're mourning. No, because I'm elevated. I overstand that they just mean that the sun is up, right? But it all has to go through that whole process of you actualizing that and getting that overstanding, that learning, that knowledge, that wisdom. All you gotta do is get that wisdom. After that, nothing else can truly touch you. It's really not that difficult. But it is. You gotta search for that wisdom. No, you can't. You cannot misspell. You cannot mispronounce or misspell anything in Latin. Like, it's bad. It turns into something else really quick. That's the one thing. I never delved into it, but I looked at a lot of Latin magic, and I know a lot of people. Not a lot of people, but I know a few people that do Latin magic. And if you do not say those words, the incantations, the exact way, you're fucked. You've done something different. You've now summoned something that isn't there. The actors and stuff that do like Latin spells and like horror movies and shit, they literally like sage and do a whole like thing before they even do that recording. They make sure like you have to say these right, because like if you don't, you know, even if no one else on the set believes it or is aware of it, why do you think every actress, like, you know, they just had a really interesting vibe about them? Because that's the one person that they needed that was like actually elevated within like a spiritual sense of knowing shit, that they needed their power to make sure that no one else is gonna get fucked up. Like, it's not a coincidence that there's always like, you know, there's that one person that has like so much energy and so much, because they needed to be in that position. You would have been really affected if you weren't. I can't pronounce that. I'm not even gonna try to. But I get what I kind of get what you mean. I do know Tua, but I'm not sure if Tua translates the same way Latin to Nuwapu to Latin. So, because Tua in Nuwapic means yes. So I wouldn't know what that translates to in the terms of Latin. Of course, of course. Oh, dang. That's really fucking cool. Dude, if I had like old books in a scanner, I'd be making PDFs. Like, if I can just like, if I had an old book collection, I would just start scanning, making PDFs of that shit. Like, I would scan them, depending on like what they are and how sacred they are. Because of course, some things like certain scrolls shouldn't really be scanned. Just, you know, just in case. It depends on how old they are too. Damn. That's crazy though, that he has that. That's really fucking cool. Does he still have the book? Take the book from him. Take the book from him. He tried to. That's fair. I would have done the same thing, Julie. Oh man. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna get some rest, and we're gonna book it up early, and make sure that we get this stuff rolled out. I'll try and get like an early stream in. I'll try to get like 2 streams in, but I'm gonna try and focus on getting videos out and stuff. But yeah, Thank you all for being here. The talks is wonderful. This was a very chill stream. It was a very beautiful stream. We're gonna pop into it. I'm very grateful for truly all of you. I very much appreciate love and love you all so much. I really do. I'm glad to be. I needed that little two break, but I did miss y'all on like the whole day on yesterday. I was like, I kind of want to go live before I DJ, because I used to go live for a little bit before I went DJing and stuff, but today I was like, nah, I gotta sit down and focus. But yeah, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Thank you all for the patience, for the wait. But I love you all so much. The moon back tenfold and forever.